Welcome back to the Mini Performance Workshop. Today I'm working on the B20 Project No Name Mini, and what I thought I'd do was, because I couldn't get any paint stripper, I'd have a go at getting some of the excess paint that's on this shell, because it's original primer, original paint, then some sort of under sealer, then the cherry red paint on top. So I thought I'd get rid of a few layers in the areas that aren't going to be done when it's blasted. So basically all the way around, the fiddly bits will be sorted when it's blasted, but the flat panels and big areas I'll try and get some of the paint off. And obviously I've just having the first 5 minute dig about before I stop for a brew as per normal. And yeah, there's all sorts of horrors appearing from under the filler and the sealant and the layers of paint. This corner, this is the driver's side rear corner of the boot, looked a bit sus because it had a lot of filler and mastic stuff hanging about in it, and you can never tell what sort of repairs are under there. So this is what I found. So if you can see what's happening here, started prying away and clearing off some of the paint that you can see. It comes off quite easy once you get it hot. You just attack it with the scraper. But I don't know if this is going to work, but if you can see that panel there moving, there's actually a gap between the rear panel here and the panel that comprises the boot floor and stuff, and it's just got a load of filler and that in it. And then from what I can see here is there's an actual gap somewhere in there. When I get all the sealer and filler out, there's a void. So there's this edge here, which seems to be fairly solid, and then there's like a cut line there. Well, you won't be able to see that. There's a cut line there, and then there's a gap underneath it, and I'll get the screwdriver in, and you can see how the two panels don't actually join together. So that's the boot floor deflecting as I'm leaning on it, and it seems to do the same all the way along. So what I'm going to do is just keep digging and see what horrors I can find. Obviously I knew in this back corner wasn't too clever. This actual stiffening panel itself doesn't look too bad once you get it cleaned off. Dan had said get one and get it replaced, but I thought I'd just have a dig around in it first to see how bad it is and get some of this filler and stuff out. And there's gaps down there, and there's obviously gaps down this back corner that we already knew about. Obviously these holes we already knew about. There's a fresh one in there, and this panel itself doesn't look too bad. There's something odd going on just there, but all this lot is getting replaced because I've got new panels to go in either side. So I'm just going to keep attacking it and see what I find. Right, further investigation has revealed that that looks to be a piece of original floor with sealer on it, and then this is a separate panel underneath, and then there's rust spreading along underneath the original sealer by the look of it that goes along this edge. The original sealer seems to be more of a yellow colour, similar to that little bit there. And then on top of it you've got the new paint, which is obviously this stuff as a surface layer. Then there's a thick layer of grey stuff, then the original red underneath, and the primer, and then bare metal. And obviously in some of these places there's quite a lot of sealant as well. You could tell that was original sealant here, and then this was a mixture of filler and sealant in there. And there's another hole appeared in that corner. That would probably appear when we had it blasted. But there's a whole load of sealer and stuff in there to get out yet. But yeah, so more holes appearing, so this back edge is looking less and less healthy. So I think after that bit of discovery, there's a hole there as well. It's going to need sorting. So yeah, the more you dig, the more you find. Good morning, welcome back to the Mini Performance Workshop. Next day on from the previous little bit of clip that you've seen. I'm going to do some more work on this shell this morning. I did a bit more work off camera yesterday afternoon, taking off the paint in a few different places just to see how easy it is to come off. The answer is not very easily. I think what I probably will do is, looking at it, I'm considering taking up the sound deadening that's on the floor to make it easier to repaint otherwise, and also to see what it's like underneath, because otherwise you're going to have to rub it all down and repaint it, and it's more layers of paint and it's more weight on the shell, and I think I much prefer it just to be a bit more exposed to a bare shell to begin with. So that'll be a plan for maybe another evening or something like that. What I'm going to do this morning is take off the remains of the wings and the inner wing off this front panel, which I want to keep. It's already been modified for the all-speed frame. You can see it's had some cuts to make some clearance. I think they're probably a bit over eager with the cutting. I don't think it's cut that much on Christopher's car. So what I'll do is I'll tidy up these cuts, get rid of all the sharp edges because it's just as cut. And the same on this side. And then to speed the process up, I'm going to chop the inner wings all the way up, round the headlamp ball, and then across this inner wing that has to come out. And then after that I'll just be left with a little bit of waste, and then I'll trim it back to the joins there and around this other edge, and that should in theory leave me with a bare front panel. So it's just going to be a case of attacking it with the angle grinder and chop it down into more manageable pieces rather than the full front end just sitting here constantly getting in the way, which I don't need, because I've got new wings, I've got new inner wings as well to go on. So I need to just get rid of all this crap that's already attached to the front panel. Well, as you can see, I've got the bulk of it off now. So what I'm going to do now is, there's a bit more to take off up here, because that's part of the inner wing and it goes underneath that front panel. Like a section comes across from there and then along and then back under there, and then these are the spot welds you can see. So I'll get that bit off and then just gradually just keep going at it. I mean, some of this stuff down here I can take off that edge now totally back to the proper panel, and just carefully try picking away at it a bit at a time to get back to the original panel without cutting through the original panel, which should be the tricky bit. I got all those sharp edges taken off, although there's still some over in that part of the panel there it's got cut out, and on this side obviously I cut out a bit more straight off. But you see that's part of the outer wing, I think, or is that the inner wing? Oh, I don't know. Well, basically that's the problem. I don't really know what's what, so I've got to carefully just take it back a section at a time, carefully unpick it and see how I come on. But I don't think I'm going to film every single little bit of me cutting away panel work. What I'll do now is I'll just keep going at those small bits that are left, and then I'll get some footage when I've got them chopped up a bit more. And it's nearly brew time. Right, I'm going to call that a day or an evening now. What a pain in the ass job that was, cleaning that metalwork off there. I've nearly got it done. If you can see this, there you go, one panel. I've got everything taken off this end, and I've been able to work out how the panels all fit together and how they're overlapped and how many spot welds there are. But as you can see, when you look at this edge, the edge itself isn't very good. There's quite a few holes and rough bits in it, but I don't want to buy a new one because they're 130 quid roughly, and I'm going to chop it anyway to fit the VTEC frame. That side's worse, you can see the holes in it, and I still need to finish taking this lip off and the rest of the wing that's still on there, which is quite awkward doing this bit because of the spot welds are on the inside of the rim there. So I might continue on with that tomorrow or tomorrow morning or something like that. It's going to be a nice day tomorrow, so I want to spend some time outside rather than in here. I've also acquired some new shelving from the gym next door. It was having a chuck out, so it's getting cleaned up and it's going to go around the workshop just to store bits and pieces on when we're working in here more often, if that makes sense. So, Christ, I'm filthy. So that's going to be it. Like, comment, subscribe, all the usual jazz. That's going to be long enough for this video, I think. And I'll see you on the next one, which will be... Yeah, I'm not entirely sure what the next video is going to be. It's either going to be something to do with the engine removal on Bumblebee or working inside the shell here, taking out all the sound deadening and stuck to the floors and stuff. But just keep an eye on the inbox, and whatever arrives, arrives.